This is Beneteau's brand new Swift Trawler 48. Now this is actually an upgrade of their Swift Trawler 47. They've done some interesting things with this, so we're going to give you the full tour and show you what it's all about. But it's a very well proven boat. This 48 actually came out at the Miami show, so about 7 months ago, and they've sold over 30 of these. So it's been an incredibly popular boat. And the big news with the Swift Trawlers always is just how practical they are. They're really designed for people to seriously use. You get a lot of people who've retired actually and buy these and enjoy them because it's the sort of boat you can just jump on for 6 months and really take your time with. We're going to step on here. There's a high-low bathing platform. Now this has got a 350 kilogram lift, so you can get a decent tender on there. This is very typical of the sort of use that you might expect to use this boat for, because this one here is a really substantial ladder. As it goes in, you can see these sort of hoop bits here. It's like a swimming pool ladder. They come up and over. So it makes it very easy to get in and out of the water, even if you are getting a little bit stiff. But what's quite clever is they've put another ladder down underneath. So if you ever to fall in, you don't need to get to that. You can just pull that ladder out and scramble back on board. So I mentioned the high-low platform. What's quite clever with this is these little chaps, because what these do, if I pull them the right way, which is not that way, it's that way, there we go. These are for your dinghy chocks. Well, these are the dinghy chocks for your dinghy, I should say. And you can actually adjust these, so whatever shape you tender, even if you've got a flat bottom one, they'll work. They're a nice, useful little fella. We'll press on a little bit further. We've got the big opening door here. You can see this section opens, but also you've got another section here that opens, so that opens nice and wide. And then in behind here, that's where you're going to open that by lifting it. There we go. That's where your shore power goes in down there. And you've also got a water inlet, so you can actually hook up to a fresh water system in the marina, if such a thing exists, where you're berthed. And the other thing you've got here is this ladder up to the Flybridge. This whole thing, there's a little pedal down here we can press, and that whole thing will then move right out of the way like that, so you can really make this area a lot bigger if you're not using the Flybridge. A lot of practical thinking, and it keeps on coming. We'll head inside first of all. I just mentioned this bit here because you'll see there's a separate section of the seat here. That's because there's a cutout, well not a cutout, but the rail there is solid, and then this piece here comes out. The idea of that is that if you want a passerelle, it would go on this side, and that would give you a stern to berthing. You just lift that section out and walk straight off of the boat. We'll head inside first of all, because this is where the big changes are. The layout on this used to have the galley up right at the front. In fact, the helm seat was on top of it. You tilted the helm seat forward to access some of it. They've completely swapped it around. They put the galley right back here. This is what everybody wants now, is a galley aft layout, and this boat obviously has it. Another thing to mention here is the woodwork, because this has got the light oak. You can have a teak if you want, so a darker colour, but also they're doing things now like these cream panels in here, which are an option. But if you want to just smarten up a bit more, rather than just have the plain, you can do things like this as well. It's an illuminated locker here for your glasses, which opens somehow. Hang on, I can see the hinges. There we go. That opens like that, and so that's all illuminated. Again, another option, you can just have a plain cupboard there if you want, but if you want it to look a bit prettier, that is how you do it. Down underneath here then, this is storage underneath here. You can see these little pegs because this is designed for your crockery to go into there. And then if we spin around the other way, you can see we've got a really big fridge freezer. So that is like so, fridge there, freezer underneath of course. Electric hob and an invisible oven. It's not quite there yet. Move on. So actually down to the supply problems they've got. The boat was coming to this show and they wanted to make sure it got here, and they hadn't got the oven yet, so that's waiting to go in, unbelievably. That's the stage of the market at the minute. This is nice. This slides right out like that, and then there's another section that comes out like this, and this is very much, again, what these trawler yachts are all about. Practical thinking, the ability to spend a lot of time on board. Cutlery goes in that one, of course, and then this one here is bins, but if you want, you can have a dishwasher in there if you prefer. And then you've got this nice Corian surface up here. Let's head on for there. Do that again. Shall I do it out later, or shall I leave it? You'll find out, won't you? Head on a bit further. You've got the rails up here. Again, very much all about the practical thinking. You know, if you're out and it's a bit choppy, you're just cruising nice and slowly, the ability to hold onto something as you move around is excellent. Same with things like these fiddled rails here, and fiddles around here as well. Just helps to keep things a little bit more under control. Table here, it's height adjustable. You can see there's a button that brings that down. It's interesting they put two legs on there so it's properly stable. What you can do with this A couple of things actually. You can take that off and fold that right out like so to make a really big dining area, and in fact this helm seat will swivel around and join it. It's height adjustable again, as you can see it down there, so that can link up to that, so you can sit loads of people around there. But the other thing you can do with it is you can put an infill cushion on it. Let's pop that back without breaking anything. And then there's a curtain that comes around, but what's quite clever is it just comes around this bit here and back in, so that even when people are on there and curtained off, anyone down on the lower deck can come up and past it, get to the galley, wander outside, whatever, without disturbing whoever's here. So that's nicely done. Helm position then is here, big helm door, also a door in the bulwark right outside. So if you're short-handed, you can be at the helm, you can just step right out here, straight out onto the deck. And they've put big cleats as well right next to it. You can see one of them just there, and then there's another one just back there. Big wide side deck here as well. We'll come to those in a minute, obviously. Very swift trawler style helm with this big upright wheel, proper little ship feel. And then here we've got the engine controls. There's a joystick on this one, and what that does is it marries up the engine controls and the bow thruster to give you joystick control for when you're berthing. There's autopilot on here as well. A lot of people cruise with these really slowly, although they have got speed as well, and we'll talk about performance when we go into the engine room. But it does mean, of course, if you're on a long passage and just taking it easy, put your autopilot on and it sits there and steers itself. The twin Flybridge touch array marine screens are here, so you can have chart plotters, radar, whatever else, and you've got analog engine instrumentation as well as digital engine instrumentation just there. More to look at, because if we look over here, this fella lifts up, and that is for a TV. So you can mount a TV on there if you want to, and that allows you to have a TV in the saloon or tuck it away. If we step on down to the lower deck then, again there's changes down here, because it's a 3-cabin layout as it was before, but what they've done now is there is an infill for this, so you can have this as a double if you prefer, and you've got hanging locker in here like so. But what they've changed is put a door here, and they've made this heads a lot bigger. It's day heads as well, but you've got a separate shower stall, which you didn't have before, so that is very, very nice. Toilet is in there. That's a much more usable space than they used to have. And then that door there is back out to the passageway. I'll show you that from the other side. You come around here, that's that door. So as I say, day heads as well, but also cabin 3 gets to use that one at night. And that's this little fella in here. Again, that clever packaging, because this one goes back in and back under that way. And so you've got a double bed. It runs right back across there. So that's rather splendid. It's got power sockets in here, USB sockets, opening windows. The other thing that they've got in here is this is a hanging locker like so. The one underneath, it is a locker, but it is big enough that if you want a washing machine, that's where it would live. So if you spec a washing machine, you'll find it tucked away in there. Forward again, past that door to the day heads, and we've got the owner's cabin up here in the bow. And that's like that. Got decent sized windows in here. You've also got the hatch up ahead, overhead even. And we've got some pads on here at the moment, but that gives you obviously ventilation another way out and so forth. In here then, again, storage everywhere. They're all about storage on these because it goes back to that trawler yacht ethos of spending a lot of time on board. Storage again up here, all the way around actually. Saying that, that's the stereo. Let's try that next one, shall we? There we go. But also, they've given you access to under the bed. So if I lift that fella there, there's a great storage area in there. So brilliant for spare bedding and that kind of stuff. Absolutely ideal. Another little locker there. Another big window over on that side. And then this one has its own ensuite. So that's tucked away in here. And again, you've got your completely separate shower area. So there is a door here that hinges across. Thusly. But that's nice because it gives you two really good heads with proper separate showers. These are nice. These are these catches that disappear. See, there's no catch there. Until you close it, nobody will see this. And then it pops into place. That's in there. It's remarkable. Excellent. That then is the accommodation. Let's go and have a look around the outside. We'll look at the Flybridge. We'll take a look at the engines. And there's more storage yet at the back. So we'll come right back, I think, because I want to show you the side decks. They're asymmetric. What that means is you've got a wider deck on this side and a deeper deck to this side. We'll go all the way around, but just so you can see the difference. That's a perfectly usable deck. You can step up there and wander on there, no problem at all. However, if you come this side, you don't need to step up at all. There's just one little step and you're still very much in the boat as you go forward. This is new. This little feature panel here. The 47 didn't have that. That's very similar to the GT62 that we saw when we were at Cannes last year. Come right on forward. This is that side access door. You can lock this into various positions. So depending on how much ventilation you want there, you can put that wherever you want and it just clips into place, like so. Let's bring that right back. Another, that's a water outlet actually, that one. So if you want to use a deck hose, it just plugs straight into there. And then if we step on up, this brings us up to the foredeck. So these are the sunbed cushions that we've got, which we saw obviously from that cabin down below. If you take the cover off of here, there's a lift up section here, so you can lift that up as a seat for the front, which is nice. And then nice big foredeck area. They've brought this really out and round and wide. And so what you've got here is anchor chain in that fella, thusly. Anchor winch there, space for another anchor on this one as well. Some people like to have two anchors on the boat, so that can go into there. And then that one then is a separate big locker for fenders or warps or whatever else. So they put little gas struts on all of these. Some nice detailing into these now. Didn't always get that. Big cleats on here as well. When they were showing me this earlier, they were saying that quite often the people that buy these boats, as I mentioned, they're very popular with people who are a bit more established, should we say. And quite often it'd be like their 10th or 11th boat, and so they know that they want things like big cleats, and they know they want nice flat decks like we've got here. And this is the boat that appeals very much to that kind of person. So we'll head down this side. I say this one's wider and higher. That's to give you more space inside the boat and give you a really good route forward on one side and another smaller route on this side. You'll notice there's no filler caps on this side. All of the service areas, like the water filler and the diesel fillers and all that, they're all over on the other side. The idea of that being that you just dock starboard side too and you can get to everything. In fact, if we go over here, there you go, you see you've got filler here and there's fillers in behind that door as well. The other thing we've got here actually, which is quite neat, is these come across just to stop the wind blowing through there. So when you're at anchor, you haven't got that funneling through. And also this one here allows you to put a joystick control if you want it. So if you want to be at a stern to berth and stand here and do it, then you would be able to. Let's come over here, take a wander up to the Flybridge. They're doing an option on this now of a hardtop, which this boat has got, which on a day out today, which is absolutely roasting, is a very nice thing. Now they've left this open, you can do what you like with it. You can put sunbeds out here, steamer chairs, little table and chairs out if you want to. A lot of people use this for things like kayaks and that kind of stuff. All the kind of thing that you can't normally find a home for can live up here. And this little two raised sections here, so you can put a life raft on there if you want to and secure that in place. We've also got a wet bar here. You can see that hardtop is better now and the radar is on there, nav lights and so forth. But this fella here has got barbecue underneath, and then there's a sink there, lifts up like so. And then underneath this you have a fridge for up here and another bin. Again, all very practical. And if we head forward up here, there's a load of seating all the way around here, as you can see. What's quite neat is this table is folded off against this side, but in actual fact there is a clip. That little fella there, we pull on that and I can slide it, not easy with whilst holding a GoPro, but we'll give it a go. You'll hopefully be able to see, here we go. There we go, we can slide that right out now. It locks into place much more in the centre, so not quite as easy to get round. You can push it out of the way if you want it out of the way, but if you've got it out here, it means that there are supports that pull out like that. They hinge over. Same on that side, you've got a really nice dining area up here under this hardtop, and of course this has an opening section, as you can see. And then further forward, what they've done here is these, oops, let's slide that one back in before preferably before we walk into it, not to worry. Up here, these have got little clips on here. We can pull that and that whole thing then hinges, so we can have aft facing seating there, or we can have it forward as we've got over there, so when you're underway you can get 1, 2, 3, 4 people across here very comfortably, enjoying the ride and enjoying the view. And then you've got the upper helm position here, big bucket seat in the centre. You've got a lift bolster, so you can sit or stand here very comfortably. Stainless steel wheel again. You've got the double Raymarine displays here, autopilot control again here, throttles, joystick control, all the sort of stuff that you saw downstairs is repeated up here. And of course what you do get is an absolutely fantastic view. Welcome to Cannes. Fantastic. So that is a pretty decent Flybridge. As I say, the hardtop is an option, so you can have either just like a canvas bimini, or of course nothing at all. Just depends where you're using the boat and how you're using it. If you're using it perhaps in Finland, you wouldn't want that at all, for example. So there we go. Let's go and have a look at the oily bits. So we'll come back here, back down these stairs. Check out my red socks. I'm a proper Englishman abroad, aren't I? Engines then are under here. So if we lift that fella there and that fella there, that would allow us to hinge that one up. And again, all very practical. This is all the way out of the way. You can get this one here up as well. We don't need to for what we're doing, it's just having a look. But if you're doing more maintenance, you might want to. And then we'll step down here, like so, and we are into the engine space. Now there's Cummins, I should say. I get told off for calling them Cummins. The Cummins engines, they're 425 horsepower each. And what you're getting with these is about 25 knots flat out. That's really putting the Swift into Swift Trawler, isn't it? But what I think the big news is that if you drop the speed back, so you'll cruise at maybe 16 knots, you'll get about 370 miles. That's fine, that's about what you'd expect. Where it gets interesting is you drop down to 7 knots, because then you get 1,500 miles. You drop down to 5 knots and you'll get 2,000 miles plus. So then you're putting your trawler into the Swift Trawler. So it really depends how you want to use the boat, but it means that you can set your speed and your ambitions depending on how far you want to go and how much time you've got. They are a conventional shaft drive. You can see the gearboxes on the back and then the shafts running out, all very straightforward and very simple. You've got the fuel tanks up here. And that is about the size of that. The last thing then to show you is, if we come out of here and close that one down, because the engines are up here, we've got space down here. If we open this one, again, I know I keep harking on about it, but if you're spending a lot of time on the boat, you know, your whole summer, you go down to the boat in March, you don't come back till September, you want storage. There's a load more of it back here. So if we drop down here, the exhaust's coming out, got the silencers here as well. Life raft is down in here. As I say, you'd normally have that up on the Flybridge where we saw it. That's just down here because of the boat show. But yeah, you've got access to steering gear. You've got a huge storage area right across there. This is designed so a generator will fit on there if you want it. We'll plug it into shore power at the minute, so we don't need it. But if you want a generator, that's where it would live. And that's a huge storage area. And that one there opens as well. So you've got plenty of access. Brilliant place to put folding bikes and that kind of stuff. And I think that little ladder there is probably to give you steps down into here. It's not in place at the minute. There we go. Let's swing ourselves out of there. Drop that fella down. Well, shut that, shut that. Let's have a wander up to the helm. And that is about the size of that. I'm just going to say massive thanks to Beneteau. They actually closed this boat off in the middle of a show so I could give you a really good look at it without anybody on board. So huge thanks for that. And of course, huge thanks to you guys for watching. Let me know what you think of that one, and we'll catch you on another one of these real soon. Take care. Bye-bye.